Okay, people, we're diving back into Magic the Gathering Arena, and today we're going to use a new deck. In my previous play session, I was using the Zombie Cat, the Dreadmalkin, and it was growing fat from strength by eating all of my saprolings, but I was also using some cards that had the Amass effect, and that effect is very fascinating, so I built a whole deck around it. So let's check it out. Okay, so the Amass ability is fascinating. You put a 1/1 counter on an army you control, but if you don't control an army, you create a 0/0 black zombie army token to put the counter on. And when you have the Amass effect on a creature like the Grim Initiate, a 1/1 for 1 mana with first strike, we're getting double value from this. So when it dies, it creates an army. So what I've tried to do is include as many creatures and spells in the deck that have the Amass feature. So Herald of the Dreadhorde, when Herald of the Dreadhorde dies, Amass 2. This is essentially a stronger version of the Grim Initiate in terms of its power and toughness. We've also got the Dreadhorde Twins. This is 4 mana for a 2/2, but when Dreadhorde Twins enters the battlefield, you Amass 2, so it comes into the field with a second token. And its second ability, zombie tokens you control, have trample. So if we do happen to have a really fat army on the field, it's going to gain trample and it's going to bulldoze over our enemies. I do have one Planeswalker in the deck, Angrath, Captain of Chaos. Unfortunately, I don't have enough wild cards to craft any more of him, but he is very powerful, and if we do manage to get him on the field, we'll get some pretty big value out of him. Creatures you control have Menace, and his loyalty ability, I can spend 2 charges to Amass 2. So if I don't have an army on the field, I get a 2/2 army. If I do have an army on the field, it gets stronger. The last most noteworthy card in the deck, in my opinion, is Dreadhorde Invasion. This is an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and Amass 1. Whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. So if we get this thing out early on, then we will have an endless supply of zombie armies. So they'll just keep pumping out until my opponent can remove this enchantment from the field or one of us dies. So that's the basic premise of the deck. We're going to try to amass as many zombie armies as we can, or just get one really big zombie army that will punch our opponent into oblivion. There are obviously other cards in the deck that I didn't mention, but we'll talk about them as I draw the cards in some games. So with that said, let's get to it. At the start of the next turn, I'm gonna suicide. Oh my gosh. My own cards are gonna kill me. Not like this. What a mess. So I'm gonna continue just going for all attacks to the face. My Phoenixes are obviously gonna die if they get blocked by the Voice of Plenty, but I sort of don't care because they're going to come back. And I'm not worried about my tokens dying because of the way my opponent's deck is structured. Based on what I've seen so far, they don't have many ways to remove things off of my side of the battlefield. That's the universe just kicking me in the teeth a little bit there. That's fine. It's totally fine. But with that, we are going to get the win here. Play a mana, go to the combat phase. We attack for 11. Plus 4 is 15. We trigger our lifelink. We're going to go up to 40 health, or maybe we're not. What's happening? Oh my gosh. Settle Wreckage. Exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search their library for that many basic land cards, put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle their library. Am I gonna lose all of a sudden? Oh my gosh, it's happening again, isn't it? I'm gonna kill myself again. Come on. Damn it. Okay, so after going through a couple of matches and getting my ass kicked, I feel like I've gotten a better handle on how the deck is supposed to play, how it can feel, and I feel good about it. The Dreadhorde Invasion has killed me several times, And that's a little bit annoying, but the card is so cool that I still enjoy it a lot. And I do think it's kind of funny to basically suicide myself, but I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. So we've got a Grim Initiate on the battlefield. My opponent's playing red and green, so he's probably going to have some really massive creatures very shortly, so that's a bit intimidating. But with 2 Death Barons in my hand, I can give everything, all of my zombies and skeletons, Death Touch, which means they'll be able to just tickle the largest of creatures and completely get rid of them. So that's nice. So what we're seeing is we got an Elvish Rejuvenator and some goblins on the field. They don't have any special abilities that we need to worry about, so things are cool. Things are totally cool. But now the Dreadhorde invasion is going to start kicking in, so we're going to start losing that life. I think the trick with the Dreadhorde invasion that has been sort of not working out super well for me is ideally I want to get my zombie army to a 6/6 power as quickly as possible so that I can take advantage of the lifelink effect. But what I've been doing is just kind of letting it build up over time, and it's building up a little bit too slowly. So instead of getting my zombie army out, getting that 6/6 as just lightning fast, and then bam, lifelink, I get a little 1/1. Next turn, I lose a life, get a 2/2. Next turn, lose another life, get a 3/3. It's too slow. Especially in the later stages of the game when I only have 10 health, I want to get that zombie army big as quickly as possible. So there's definitely a lot of restructuring that I could do and should do for the theme of this deck, which is amassing a big old army. But I do still enjoy the way it plays in its current form. But that's the thing with Magic, isn't it? It's all about tweaking and constantly evolving your playstyle and learning from your mistakes and growing. Unfortunately, Death Baron going to get lightning struck. Yeah, but that's the whole nature of the game. It's about that experimentation process, realizing what you've done wrong or what could be done better, and then doing that. I'm not gonna block anything because I don't want anything to die right now. Because my creature's gonna get stronger. I'm gonna bring out the Death Baron again. Buff everything to a 2/2. That's what I want. So we're going to go to the combat phase, and then we're going to attack with everything. Like so. 3 attackers.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Alexa, nobody's talking to you. So now we go to the damage phase, and we deal the damage. It's not going to block with everything. That's some pretty big punishment. So what I'm going to do here now is play Costly Plunder, because I want to draw some cards. So I'm going to sacrifice the Reassembling Skeleton and draw 2 cards. And we got some pretty powerful stuff as well. Demon Lord Belzenlock. He's got a very long effect. I'm not going to read it unless I play it, but Herald of the Dreadhorde, when he dies, he amasses 2, so that will help my zombie army get a little bit stronger. Lathless Dragon Queen. We've seen that one before. This is obviously a dragon-centric deck. But this is intimidating. A 6/6 with flying on the battlefield. It's not all that much I can do about that. But I can try to... Well, there's actually a lot that I can do to mitigate that suffering a little bit. So here's what's going to go down. We're going to cast Bleeding Edge on the Draconic Disciple, because this can transform into a 5/5 dragon creature token with flying. I don't want that. I don't have a lot of ways to deal with flying. So we get rid of that, and that's going to amass us 2 more onto our army. So we now have a 6/6. Next, I'm going to bring back my skeleton from the graveyard. That's fine. And I'm going to go for an attack with everything, except for the Death Baron, of course. So he's obviously not going to block with Lathless, because then it'll die. But I want that lifelink, so I'm back at 21. I'm going to get attacked next turn no matter what, but that's okay. I want that health to keep me sustained and in the fight. I need to outlast the pain Demanding Dragon coming out. It's going to deal 5 damage to me unless I sacrifice a creature. Thankfully, I have an unlimited source of creatures in the form of Reassembling Skeleton, so I'm not going to take that extra damage. But now there are 3 5/5. There are 3 dragons on the field, 2 5/5s and a 6/6. They all have flying. Very scary. Oh boy. It's really unfortunate that Demon Lord Belzenlock is a Demon Lord and not a Zombie Lord. Because if he was a Zombie Lord, this man would be in trouble. Now, I did draw into a murder. I've got 4 of them in my deck. So I'm going to delete Lathless Dragon Queen. So that's a huge amount of stress that goes away. And sure, I'll reanimate another skeleton. Or should I say reassemble? Let's use the correct terminology. And I'm going to continue to pressure with all of my creatures. Because if I don't attack, I'm just wasting my own time. Because my creatures cannot block his flying creatures. So there's no reason for me to save anything. I've just got to keep going for that face. The lifelink from the Dreadhorde Invasion is amazing right now. That's the only thing that's really keeping me in the fight. This feels good. This feels good. This feels good. So with this deck, when I am fighting somebody that doesn't have burn and doesn't have removal for my zombie armies, it feels really good. But as soon as somebody brings out anything that removes this humongous asset, the deck doesn't suck, but I lose a lot of stopping power. Hey, he gave up. I'll take it. I'll take the win. Okay, we got 2 Reassembling Skeletons and a Grim Initiate. It's not a very powerful hand, but it's not weak either. We've got essentially an unlimited access to blockers for the early game with these Reassembling Skeletons, so that's nice. But if we don't draw anything powerful, then that's gonna suck. But we'll see how this plays out. It's a little bit goofy. Okay, things are turning around. Drawing into the Death Baron feels really nice, but this guy probably has a lot of burn cards in his deck, so the Death Baron is probably gonna get destroyed as soon as I call it out to the battlefield. So I'm gonna try and be a little bit tactical about how I use him. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring out the Reassembling Skeleton next turn, and then I'm gonna wait till the turn after that to bring out the Death Baron. So at least maybe I'll get 1 good attack with my buffed up zombies. We'll see how it plays out. It's a thinking man's game right here. What is this guy? Gutter Snipe. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. I'm not gonna instantly destroy that with Bleeding Edge. I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm probably gonna take a lot of damage from Gutter Snipe, but that's okay. That's totally fine. What is this? Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Electrostatic Field deals 1 damage to each opponent. Oh, I see what he's doing. Okay. Well, it's not really safe for me to play the Death Baron unless he has all of his mana tapped. Because if he has a shock in his hand right now, he can just kill it instantly and I just get nothing from that. So I'm still not gonna bring out my boy. This is one of my favorite looking cards in the game. I love the art on it, but still nothing we can really do. I'm just going to keep bringing out creatures for now because we're kind of both at a stalemate. He doesn't want to attack with Gutter Snipe because that's a very powerful asset for him. This Goblin token is basically just his defenses right now, so he's not attacking with that. But we're stuck. We're both stuck. Okay, we're playing a game of chicken right now. Who's going to do something first? What are you going to do? What are you gonna do? It's your turn, bro. What are you gonna do? Demanding Dragon. I wasn't expecting that, but the Reassembling Skeleton completely neutralizes the effect of that card. Unfortunately, though, I do not have any way to deal with the Demanding Dragon, so I'm going to take a lot of punishment from that. All of his mana is tapped, though, so I think it's time for me to get the Death Baron out here and just go for face with everything. Yeah, we're going to go Death Baron, and then we attack with all of our skeletons and zombies, because they're all going to have Death Touch now and +1/+1. This is, yeah, this is probably the best move that I can make here. Like he can block with a lot of stuff, but he's most likely not. So we're just gonna get a decent chunk of damage out, bringing him down to 16. And you know what? Let's get rid of the gutter snipe. It's finally time to do that. Now here's where things get a little bit scary. I'm so ready for the Death Baron to get shocked or lightning bolted or something. The removal capability for most red decks is usually pretty high in the Firm of Burn. So the Death Baron isn't really safe right now, especially because he's wearing those clearly flammable robes. He will light up like a Christmas tree. Well, that was interesting. He didn't burn him. That's actually uncomfortable. Because he didn't burn any of my cards, he's got 6 mana available. He's probably gonna do some dumb shit. Man, I'm not ready for this. My mind is, I wasn't mentally prepared for him to not burn my Death Baron. Alright, let's bring out the Dreadhorde Twins. Dreadhorde Twins. I've been doing that all day. I keep calling them Dreadhorn instead of Dreadhorde. Okay, so now we've got a 5/5 zombie army. I'm not gonna attack with everything because I feel like he's got some sneaky plan. I'm going for it. Come on, I know you got a plan. I knew it. Well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Actually, that was probably the worst thing he could have done. Because he made my... Yeah, it's getting worse. Okay, that's fine. He's removed the Death Touch, but in destroying the Herald of the Dread Horde, he made my zombie army stronger. So initially, he could have traded with the Demanding Dragon, but now the zombie army is stronger than the Demanding Dragon. And it still has Trample because of the Dread Horde Twins. All right, that was a good set of motions that happened there. I like the way that played out. So those two spit flames, they did some damage, but the way the damage was dealt out wound up not being super helpful for my opponent there. And I have another removal for the Gutter Snipe. But I'm not going to use it just yet because I've got a big health advantage. So I'm okay with taking some extra damage from sorceries. I'm really okay with that. The main reason I'm going to save Bleeding Edge is just in case my zombie army dies, I'll have the ability to build up another one a little bit faster. So, oh, right, I got to mention. So because we have Dreadhorde invasion on the field, and we're attacking with a zombie army that is above 6 power, it gains lifelink while it's attacking. So we just brought ourselves up to 25. There's probably nothing my opponent can do to scrape together a win. He's got 1 card left in his hand, and I don't imagine it's all that powerful. I mean, it's a little bit intimidating because it is a dragon. He gets to spend extra mana to bring Spit Flame back from his graveyard to his hand. He's got 2 of those, but he doesn't get to use them this turn. So there might not really be much he can do with that. Because now we've got a second Dreadhorde invasion that I'll bring out just for the lulls. And then we'll go to the combat phase, attack with our big old zombie guy. We gain lifelink. He's staying in the game, and I respect it. I didn't have lethal, never mind. I could have had lethal. I should have just ended the game. Damn, I fucked up a little bit. Yeah, I definitely messed up there. That was a big misplay, but it wasn't a bad enough misplay to lose me the game, especially because I have such a big lead because of the Death Horde invasion. So in the end, we just used Bleeding Edge. And we attack with everything for the win. And there we go. Okay, whew. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you make a misplay where you could have won the game, but you don't. But in the end, like I said, we had such a big lead that worked out. I'm going to do one more match, see how it turns out. Probably going to lose because that's usually how that thing goes. But I like it. I like this deck, and I want to keep playing it one more time. I shouldn't have done another game. I knew this was gonna happen. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up there, but this deck was pretty cool. There are a lot of different ways that I can and should build this to get better benefits from it. There are a lot of Amass cards that I've never seen before that I would like to have. The Planeswalker that I have in the deck, Angrath, Captain of Chaos, I should probably have 4 of these guys in the deck because he is very powerful. He's a consistent way to build up my zombie armies. And the biggest problem with the deck, in my opinion, was the fact that the Dread Horde invasion was getting me killed. Because I would call it out, I wouldn't be able to finish the game quick enough, I'd get on that lower end of health, and I would amass a zombie army that wouldn't be strong enough to gain the second ability's effect. Whenever a zombie you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. This deck is cool, but the way it's currently structured, I don't amass fast enough. So having more access to Angrath, Captain of Chaos, would allow me to amass a little bit faster, a little bit more consistently. And yeah, I think that's probably the main thing that was causing me grief, just not having the ability to amass fast enough. But overall, I did like the way it played. When it works, it really works, and it's very satisfying. But when it doesn't work, it's a little bit goofy and silly. But that's Magic the Gathering, folks. So as always, the name of the game is Magic the Gathering Arena. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.